It's a rivalry that needs no extra hype, no window dressing. It's simply the Raiders and the Chiefs. And a look at the standings of the AFC West shows that these two teams are at the top of the division as we hit Week 7 in the NFL. Hi, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. It's hard to forget the last time these two teams met here at Arrowhead. Oakland's win over Kansas City knocked the Chiefs out of the playoffs. And talking to the Raiders, they believe that win has carried over into the start of this season.
Well, as a player, if you can't get to the playoffs, the next best thing is to knock your arch rivals out of the playoffs in the season finale. The Raiders are able to carry that motivation over to this season with a solid 4-1 start.
Kansas City coming off the bye week. They have won their last 3 games, all of them divisional games in the AFC West. We'll have all the action coming up here from KC. It could get ugly. It's coming up after this word from your local station. Oakland, Kansas City. It's an old-fashioned NFL rivalry, one that dates back over 40 years. But it's a brand new millennium, and it's back to where they like it best, fighting it out for first place in the AFC West. There's a score to be settled once again. The Raiders battle the Chiefs. Next. Live from Arrowhead, Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew on hand for the Raiders and the Chiefs. John Gruden, 1-3 in his head coaching career against Kansas City, but that one win was a big one, knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs in the season finale 1999. And Gunther Cunningham, yes, there is history there with the Raiders, former defensive coordinator who was demoted his final season there by Al Davis, and then came on to serve under Marty Schottenheimer, eventually getting the head coaching job. We're underway. Sebastian Janikowski kicked it off. Mike Cloud will take a knee. And for Janikowski, his 9th touchback this season, which leads the AFC. Elvis Grbac currently leading the AFC in touchdown passes with 12 of them. And maybe for the first time in a long time, these Kansas City fans are forgetting about Rich Gannon and are getting on the side of Elvis Grbac.
Well, earlier in the season, they wanted to know where the passing game was. Well, now they have the passing game. They're wondering where the running game is. And the Kansas City Chiefs fans, they're never happy. But what they are happy about, this team has a 3-game win streak, and they're behind Elvis Grbac now, not Rich Gannon.
Open up in the base offense. Hand it off to Mike Cloud, trying to drive through the middle. And the Oakland defense suffocating him with William Thomas leading the charge. No gain on first down. Take a look at the Kansas City offense. And that offensive line, it is official. Jeff Blackshear will now be the starting left guard the rest of the season because Dave Zott, normally the starter there, placed on injured reserve. The 3-pronged passing attack, that's probably been the most surprising part of this Kansas City offense. They have been known as a running team, but with those receivers and the tight end, it's been explosive. Grbac airing it out and over the head of Sylvester Morris. He was testing Eric Allen early, and the throw was too high. Take a look at the Oakland defense. Raiders come in ranked 27th in the NFL, that front line. Huge up the middle with Darrell Russell and Grady Jackson. The tight ends, some new faces. Elijah Alexander out of football last year. Beekert, the mainstay. William Thomas, the former Eagle. And in the secondary, great bookends with Allen and Woodson. Anthony Dorsett signed from Tennessee. Marquez Pope, the former Brown. On third down, Grbac in the pocket, able to connect. Tony Gonzalez, and a first down throw across the 30-yard line. Good for 12 yards.
And a nice job of Elvis Grbac staying in the pocket, throwing the ball down the field to play, and taking a shot. He's got the hot read on the blitz. But on the outside, Tony Gonzalez, you're looking for mismatches. You want to find out who's going to cover Tony Gonzalez? Well, right there, they get Marcus Pope on him, one-on-one. Marcus Pope is an ex-cornerback. Now he's playing the safety position. Tony Gonzalez, bigger, just as fast, and a lot stronger than a strong safety in the NFL.
Gonzalez sets off to the line. So Grbac will look to throw it off of play action. Throwing on the run to the sideline. And it's caught. Derek Alexander, or Tony Gonzalez was there with Alexander, and they claim that it's incomplete. The ball was bobbled.
Elvis Grbac giving a little bit of a la Rich Gannon, moving the pocket, throwing the ball to the out to Derek Alexander. He's just not able to catch the ball. He had both hands on the ball. That's a reception that he should have.
So Alexander, who has been the big play guy for Kansas City this season and in season past, just not making the rudimentary catch out on the sideline.
You can even ask me, he said, yeah, I'm known as a big play guy. That's what they tell me. I come up with a couple big plays every game, but he wants to be known as a solid wide receiver, and he has been the guy that the Chiefs have used as big plays.
On 2nd and 10, Cloud trying to spin his way ahead, was able to create some space for himself and picked up just 2 yards. Grady Jackson combining with Greg Beekert to make the stop. And Greg Beekert, not one of the bigger names around the NFL, but obviously Oakland felt he was important. They signed him to a 6-year, $24 million contract.
And when the coaches break down the defensive films, they find that Greg Beekert's in on every tackle. At the bottom of the pile, he's always around the pigskin, and he makes a tremendous amount of tackles. He's really their unsung hero on defense. And John Gruden, the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, told us, hey, he's one of my favorite players.
Leading the team with 48 tackles. And here's Gerback. Stepping up, dumping off, knocked up in the air, and fortunate that Tony Richardson was able to catch it. And no gain on the play. It will set up 4th down. Once again, Beekert involved with Jackson.
And on 3rd down, the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, they have to hold up. Because on 3rd and long, they're going to rush 4. You've got 5 blocking 4. They have to hold up. And look at that Beekert right there on the nose. He's a tough guy. He's got a smile on his face, the blood trickling down. Now, that's a middle linebacker right there. He's got the blood, got the hair messed up. He's already got dirt on his uniform. That's what football's all about.
Gruden called him old school. You think you could have placed that in with the old footage we showed from Raiders Chiefs from years past? Big punt by Sauerbrunn, but it rolls into the end zone for the touchback. A 66-yard punt. Not quite as long for the season, which is 68. Early in the first, Oakland gets the football. We'll see the Raiders offense for the first time today. 12-14 mark of the first quarter. Oakland at 4-1, coming off the 34-28 overtime win against their crosstown rivals, the San Francisco 49ers, in a wild game last week. Open up with their conventional look offensively. Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. And off, Tyrone Wheatley works his way through a hole and picks up 4 yards as Eric Hicks makes the stop. Rich Gannon, the former Chief, got a nice ovation from this Kansas City crowd last year when he came to town for the first time as a Raider. He told us that he'd be surprised if he got another one today. Well, guess what? He did when the starting lineups were announced. Charles Woodson has set up as a receiver to the far side, so that comes as a shocker early on. Gannon looking for Woodson, and a first down throw across the 30-yard line. We spoke with Woodson yesterday, and I asked him flat out, hey, no offense for you this year? Kind of gave us a half smile and said, yeah, I guess not. Well, I guess we were wrong.
Definitely. Right off the bat, they put Charles Woodson in, the defensive back, the Pro Bowler. And if you look at this, he wanted to go one-on-one against James Hasty. Didn't get the opportunity, but he was out there against the rookie William Barty.
Take a look at the Oakland offense. That offensive line has been strong. Backs and receivers. John Ritchie is back after being inactive last week following an emergency appendectomy. On first down, here's Wheatley. Tyrone Wheatley taking long strides and moving it out to the 38-yard line. A gain of 8. Donnie Edwards involved with Lou Bush. Dwayne Clemens, Chiefs were hoping he would return after the injury suffered in week 2 against Tennessee, but he is inactive. Linebackers, Edwards having a Pro Bowl type season, Patton and Bush. And in the secondary, 2 youngsters, Wesley and Dennis, both are rookies to go along with the veterans. There's Gannon stepping up in the pocket, pump fake, he'll run it. Rich Gannon sliding down for the first down across the 45-yard line. A pickup of 7.
Now, and this is what the Kansas City defense did not want to have happen. The rush lanes go up the field. Rich Gannon's able to step up in the pocket. The defense goes down the field, and he runs for the first down. The biggest thing they'd like to do is contain Rich Gannon. 85 yards rushing last week, highest of his career against the San Francisco 49ers. When you see him on film, even though at his age, I asked him the other day, how fast you're in the 40, Rich? Well, I'm 4'6" or so. I haven't been timed in 4 or 5 years, but he's just as fast and as elusive as any young quarterback in the league.
He's on pace for a career-high 502 yards rushing this season. Off the fake handoff, bootleg makes the connection to Jeremy Brigham, the backup tight end. Goes into Kansas City territory and shoved out of bounds by Lou Bush, a gain of 7. So Oakland moving the football with ease so far.
And that's what a mobile quarterback gives you. John Gruden knows that. 13th year in the league. Rich Gannon's been as hot as any quarterback over the last year and a half, and he's able to move the pocket. It's tough to defend a quarterback that can move the pocket left throw right, move the pocket right, throw left. He's a tremendous quarterback on the run.
Oakland raised some eyebrows around the league when they signed Gannon to a 4-year, $16 million deal. He's been well worth it so far, a Pro Bowler in '99. Handoff, Kaufman trying to get around the end. He does. First down and then some. Forced out of bounds just shy of the 35-yard line. A 10-yard burst going to the outside for Napoleon Kaufman, and they have that inside-outside game with Wheatley and Kaufman.
That 1-2 punch, you get the big battering ram, Tyrone Wheatley right in the middle of the field, and Napoleon Kaufman gives the fake to the inside and runs right around Lou Bush. Nothing but speed on this play. This is hitting the corner and turning it up and gaining positive yardage. That's exactly what Napoleon Kaufman gives you.
Kaufman averaging better than 7 yards per carry so far in the young season. No score, Oakland in business though with a 1st and 10 at the 35. Gannon, good protection, darts one, and the connection made with the former Chief, Andre Rison. And you hear the reaction. 8 yards through the air. Rison claims that the Chiefs told him they wanted taller receivers. That's why they didn't re-sign him. And Rison wanted to make Kansas City pay with a performance here today, and more importantly, a victory.
With Andre Rison, just about every team he goes to, this is the 7th team, his first year, his best year. He's caught an NFL record, 6 touchdown passes with 6 different teams. But one thing he brings you, toughness. He'll go across the middle.
On 2nd and 2, a first down run for Wheatley. Wheatley trying to cut it to the outside. He does across the 20, and a flag comes down late. Tyrone Wheatley with a 12-yard run. You could call that inside and outside. Is this one coming back, though, our first penalty? Our referee today is Tony Corrente, and it is.
Holding. Offense, number 80. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. 2nd down.
So a little added bonus for the Chiefs fans. Not only is it a penalty against Oakland, but it's against their former favorite, Andre Rison.
On the outside, Andre Rison is trying to get a block downfield and help his running back, and that's what wide receivers have to do. They have to block the corners and seal the corners, but most wide receivers are not good blockers. What they do is they get their hands outside of the plane and grab a hold of the defender. That's why they get caught downfield for holding.
They'll bring it back. Kaufman now checks in. On a 2nd and 6, 8 minutes to play in the first. Play fake. Gannon steps up, airs it out too high for Jeremy Brigham. It'll set up 3rd down. Brigham was matched up with the free safety Jerome Woods. And that's been a criticism in the Bay Area, that the tight ends have not been involved enough. Not necessarily Brigham, but Ricky Dudley does not have impressive numbers so far.
Ricky Dudley, only 8 receptions coming in the game. When you get a guy that's 6'6", long arms, ex-basketball player that can leap, you've got to use it, particularly in the red area, because it creates a mismatch. There's not a defensive back or linebacker that can hang with such a big, powerful tight end.
A 3-receiver look. Chiefs fans making noise early. 3rd and 6, 9th play of the drive. Gannon stepping up, in trouble, gets out of it. Pump fake, Gannon looking for the first down, and he's got it with a little shake and bake move to the 25. Rich Gannon, that was creative. Chester McLaughlin, the former Raider, had a chance to bring him down.
And Chester McLaughlin, all he has to do is wrap up here, but the strength in Gannon's legs, look at him. He keeps them moving, then he looks down the field to play with the fake. Now he'll cut back and pick up additional blockers right there and take the ball up for the first down. Rich Gannon, 34 years old, can still do it at his age, but what it is, it's the experience. He knows where the rush lanes are. Step up and make something positive happen with the football when you're running.
On a 1st and 10 now from the 24. Hand it off. Wheatley running through Kansas City defenders. And he's trampled down at the 15-yard line, a gain of 8. I'm almost feeling a little deja vu. If you remember last year, Wheatley had one of the great runs of the NFL season against Kansas City, breaking 6-7 tackles for the touchdown in that season finale.
And I talked to Donnie Edwards out on the field before the game. I said, what are the things you have to do to stop this team offensively, the Oakland Raiders? He said, first of all, Tyrone Wheatley hurt us in both games last year. Second of all, Tim Brown, the slant patterns. But Tyrone Wheatley going off the field with an injury, that's going to be a key stat in this game because he's Mr. Inside for this Oakland Raider offense.
That may slow him down as he limped to the sideline. On 2nd and 3, Brown the motion man. Handed off. Kaufman trying to work it inside. Bouncing off a tackle. Kaufman still on his feet and brought down inside the 5. John Browning with a stop. Napoleon Kaufman with a gain of 12. They're working on Tyrone Wheatley on the sideline, the previous run. And a look at it from Tyrone Wheatley.
We'll keep an eye on Tyrone Wheatley's left leg right there. Devastating hit coming flying right on his legs by rookie safety Greg Wesley. He probably got a helmet to the thigh area. It looks like they're stretching his thigh.
On a 1st and goal from the 4, handed off. Kaufman hit at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go. No gain on the play. Wesley again in on the stop.
And what's impressive about Napoleon Kaufman, when he runs the ball on the inside, he's not a big guy, but he's physical, 185 pounds. The first tackler rarely brings him down. He always keeps his feet moving. He has tremendous strength from the waist down.
Also, what's impressive about this Oakland offense so far, just about everybody is contributing. Wheatley, Kaufman, Gannon. Woodson with a catch on this drive. Even a defensive back helping out the offense.
Spreading the wealth.
Teams have been able to score on Kansas City so far in the first quarter this season. On 2nd and goal, little dump off. Kaufman cuts it inside for the touchdown. Napoleon Kaufman gets Oakland on the board first.
Now you talk about a smart play for John Gruden to call. He knows Kansas City's going to rush. Watch the offensive line right here. These guys are going to get out and block. It's a quick little underneath screen. Gannon drops back, looks down the field, looks off the defensive linebacker, turn and dump it off. The big guys out in front. Wisniewski, Robbins getting blocks down the field to play, and all it is an easy run for Napoleon Kaufman to foul his blockers into the end zone.
Extra point for Sebastian Janikowski is good. A 14-play, 80-yard drive, and the Raiders make a statement here in the first, taking up 7 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock and a 7-0 advantage. One of the truly great matchups in all of sports. Oakland and Kansas City, first quarter, 5:09 to play, and the Raiders with a 7-0 lead on the Chiefs. Janikowski will kick it off, a touchback on his first attempt. Dante Hall and Mike Cloud are deep. This will be Cloud from the 6. Middle of the field, Cloud emerging through a hole, and a flag comes sailing in as he's brought down at the 34-yard line. A 28-yard return, Zach Crockett on special teams making the stop. And we'll see what the flag is. Well, they'll back up the Chiefs. Kansas City getting off to a shaky start here.
Holding, receiving team number 55. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's a hold on the linebacker Ron George. We'll come back with the Chiefs' second drive of the day. 7-0 Oakland lead. Raiders in front, 7-0, just under 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and a 1st and 10 for the Chiefs from their own 20-yard line. Gerback on the handoff for Mike Cloud. Able to carry a pile with him to the 25-yard line for a pickup of 5. Marquez Pope making the stop. Well, the last time these two teams met, Kansas City with a chance to capture the division title. Pete Stoyanovich, the man of the moment. Goal attempt. Stoyanovich. Kick is up. No good. We are headed to overtime. And in OT, Gunther Cunningham's team fell short. Joe Nedney with a field goal to win it for Oakland. Bruising style of Frank Moreau, the rookie. And a gain of 10.
For Frank Moreau, the rookie, he's one of the players that Gunther Cunningham is most high on. He says from the waist down, he's exactly what you want in a running back. Powerful, elusive, but he can run over guys and he can set his shoulder down and knock linebackers over one-on-one in the open field. But what he really likes about him, every time he touches the ball, he falls forward. It's always a forward progress.
Cunningham told us he believes in all of his running backs. He thinks they're all character guys. Now, obviously, you would expect him to say that in a running back by committee philosophy. As flags come down, this play never happens.
When you run the running back situation by committee, a lot of times it's a nightmare for coaches.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And another penalty working against the Chiefs.
But Gunther Cunningham told us, hey, it's a dream come true for a coach. I've got all these guys that I can work in, and what I really like about these guys, they're tough guys. They're great pass protectors. He's got some film broken down, or he's got certain guys one-on-one on linebacker blitzes where they just reject linebackers coming in on the blitz series. And his running backs in this situation, he's got 4 or 5 of them that he's willing to use. He feels comfortable using them at any situation in the game.
Here's Gerback in the pocket, sets it up into some traffic, and Alexander couldn't hold on. A flag. And a matchup with a veteran, Eric Allen.
One thing both of these wide receivers have over the Oakland Raiders, height. It's going to be on the defense on Eric Allen.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. Automatic, first down.
A 14-yard penalty.
And they will use their height against the cornerbacks. They've got 3 inches on one and 5 inches on the other. But here, Eric Allen just has a hold on him right there going for the ball. His left hand has a hold of the jersey of Derek Alexander, and also he hits it before the ball gets there.
Off the double tight end set, play fake, airing it out. Gerback, wide open, Sylvester Morris. Inside the 30-yard line. Marquez Pope chasing him down, a 28-yard completion.
Kansas City offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray wanted to find out what the Raiders would do to defense the Kansas City Chief offense. Will they bring 8 men in the box? If they do, we're going to throw the ball downfield. If they've got 5 and 6 in the box, what we'll do is run the ball. Here, there's 8 in the box. Look at all the white jerseys. It's a simple crossing route for Sylvester Morris. No one is close to him. He gets before the defensive backs and behind the linebackers. A great call by Jimmy Ray. He wants to stretch that defense out and get the ball to his wide receivers.
On a handoff for Moreau, taking it inside and coming up a little bit shy of the 25. We'll call it a gain of 3. Josh Taves making the stop for Oakland, who's been a surprise for this Raiders defense. You know, the running game currently for Kansas City is ranked 29th in the NFL. That's uncharacteristic.
It definitely is, Ian. As an ex-offensive lineman, I like the one guy, the go-to guy. You can give it to him 30 times a game. He can read your blocks in the 3rd and 4th quarter. He knows how the defense is playing. But on the other hand, for Kansas City, you've got guys that are fresh in every package. They come in, they've got fresh legs throughout the game.
On a 2nd and 7, quick count. On the counter for Moreau, and he can run nowhere. A gain of 1 as Lance Johnstone was the first man to get there. A loss, I should say, of 1 on the play. Counting it down to 2 minutes remaining in the first. Oakland leading Kansas City 7-0.
And keep an eye on the defense, the penetration right there by the interior. Beaker's smart enough to read the play. The offensive line of Kansas City, what they're trying to do is they're trying to deuce off in the middle, double team off in the middle. But the penetration by Lance Johnstone right there. He plays off the block of left tackle John Tate. And what hurts running plays? Penetration. Stay with your blocks, particularly on a delay run.
Nickel package for Oakland on 3rd down. Gerback fires up high, and Gonzalez with a leaping attempt could not bring it in. It'll be 4th down. Now remember, Pete Stoyanovich not on this team anymore, and we'll see a 44-yard field goal coming up.
And this is a heck of a play by Bobby Brooks, the linebacker. He stays in front of Gonzalez, but look at the white jerseys around Gonzalez. They're going to make sure in the red area, when you're inside that 20, not the ball, but the wide receivers, they're going to make sure they've got 2, 3 people on Tony Gonzalez because they know the Kansas City Chiefs offense. They want to get it to Gonzalez in that area.
One of the newest Chiefs, Todd Peterson, the former Seattle Seahawk, getting an opportunity, a 44-yard attempt. Leans into it. The kick. No good. And the kicking problems continue for Kansas City. Peterson in his first attempt as a Chief comes up empty. 7-0 Oakland. Raiders with a 7-0 lead, and we'll see the Oakland offense with 1:32 to play in the first. Todd Peterson missing on his first attempt as a Chief, signed this week to replace Pete Stoyanovich. Is it coincidence that Stoyanovich was let go the week leading up to the Oakland matchup? A kick he missed last year, the beginning of the end for Stoyanovich as a Chief. John Ritchie getting involved in the offense, and Ritchie with the catch, 8 yards, taking it to the sideline.
You talk about a tough guy. The Oakland Raiders always appear that tough image. John Ritchie, pendants taken out 2 weeks ago, comes back, he's in the uniform, he's out there playing, first quarter catches a pass. You talk about toughness, that's just mental toughness. A fullback for the Oakland Raiders, on the field at all times, nice special teams player for the Raiders.
On a 2nd and 2, Tyrone Wheatley has returned, so the injury not serious. This is Wheatley, and that's a first down for Oakland across the 45-yard line and a gain of 4. Wheatley told us yesterday, I thought something that was insightful, and that was in asking the difference between last year's team and this year's team. He told us Hey, last year's team, players were hoping that somebody else on the squad would make the play. This year, players are trying to do it themselves.
And that's a sign of maturity and growth as a team. Players are working together as a team. I've been on teams in the past where players weren't working together, and you were home watching the playoffs. This team has finally come together and brought it together. That's why they're 4-1 this far in the season.
Off the play fake, Gannon throwing across the middle, and it's Tim Brown. Still may run the best routes in all of football. A first down for Oakland, 18 yards.
And across the middle, that's where he's made his bread and butter, is across the middle, running the slants, getting the rub-offs in the middle of the field, and the Kansas City defense knows it. Watch Tim Brown. He's going to come out of nowhere from right to left in the middle of the screen. Play action pass, linebacker step up. He gets behind the first linebacking wave. He's open right in the middle of the field. Tough to defend, but you have to know where number 81 is at all times.
172 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns last week in the win over San Francisco, including the game winner, and that's the end of the first quarter. Oakland with a 7-0 lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. Will return to Arrowhead Stadium right after this message. We open up the second quarter here at Arrowhead. Oakland leading Kansas City 7-0, and the Raiders are on the move again. A 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 37-yard line. First touchdown came on a 4-yard pass. Gannon to Napoleon Kaufman. Kaufman's first receiving touchdown of the year. And here's Gannon on a handoff. Wheatley running into a crowd, and no gain on the play. Chester McLaughlin, first man to wrap him up. Tyrone Wheatley, like so many other players in the NFL, have put on the silver and black, and all of a sudden their career seems to turn around. Wheatley just couldn't find a niche with the New York Giants. He has in Oakland.
And some players just need to find a different home, a different environment. And Tyrone Wheatley, it was for him, the Oakland Raiders. And Al Davis has had a knack of bringing players in that perform a lot better with this Raider football team than the previous team.
On 2nd and 10, Wheatley cuts to the outside, a flag down, and the play is whistled dead. Barry Sims has set up. He reported ineligible, a backup offensive lineman, number 65. We'll see if he had something to do with this at the 14:21 mark, second quarter.
False start. Offense, the right guard. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, the right guard is Mo Collins.
Mo Collins was their left tackle last year, moved into guard this year, has had some knee problems, and he's filled in at guard and has done an outstanding job for this running football team, and they've picked up the ball. They've rushed the ball very well this year.
You know, you look at the starting lineups and you see Mo Collins, you say, wow, that's a big man. And then you look just to his right and you see Lincoln Kennedy.
This line averages 325.
Yeah.
Lincoln Kennedy at one time almost ate himself out of the league. He was about 400 pounds, but since he's been with the Raiders, he's kept his weight under 350 pounds.
On a 2nd and 15 from the 42, short drop, Gannon able to drop it off to Kaufman, and he is dropped very quickly at the 40-yard line by Donnie Edwards. So a modest gain of just 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and long.
Hey, Rich Gannon's got a little pepper in his salt out there. He's out there pushing around defensive linemen. He gets knocked on the ground, gets up, and just pushes a guy in the face. And, you know, error kicks at the end of the play, but watch Rich Gannon's feet here at the end of the play. First 3 steps, his first read isn't there. Okay, let's make something happen. Dodge the bullet right here, get rid of the football. At the end of the play, he gets up and shoves error kicks. 285-pound defensive line. Look at this. Rich Gannon, he's a 220-pound quarterback, 34 years old. He's not going to take that.
Backup Randy Jordan in the backfield on a 3rd and 13. Straight drop. Gannon under some pressure, steps up, looking for the open man, floats it to the outside, and the acceleration by Jeremy Brigham. Where will they mark him, though? Not enough. He needed 2 extra yards as he got it to the 29.
And this play is all quarterback Rich Gannon. He does it with his feet. When I talked to Kansas City offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray, what he told me is he's not surprised at the success of Rich Gannon. Smart quarterback. He's been around the league long enough. He makes as many plays with his legs as he does with his arms as any quarterback in the NFL.
Well, that catch got them into field goal range, and Sebastian Janikowski 0 for 4 from beyond 40 yards. This is a 47-yard attempt for Janikowski. No good. He's struggling.
That's the reason why they signed him. They drafted him in the first round to get the big kicks out of him. He hasn't made one over 40 yards this season.
Sebastian Janikowski still searching. He can't find his location. That seed of doubt still lingering in the mind of Sebastian Janikowski. His teammates trying to come over, offer words of encouragement. Last week he missed 2 field goals against San Francisco, including one that would have won it in overtime. Still has not made a field goal in his career with a game on the line. Off the bootleg, Gerback. Open man, it's Tony Gonzalez. Stiff arm, and Gonzalez is brought down at the 45-yard line. So a gain of 8. Marquez Pope will be given credit for the stop. And Kansas City feeling good about itself, trailing only 7-0 after another long drive by Oakland produced no points.
And it's the ability of Elvis Gerback moving the pocket, getting the ball to Tony Gonzalez. It opens up another venue for this offense, and it creates mismatches. I keep saying that because it does. You want to put Tony Gonzalez on a slower linebacker or a smaller safety.
Motion man is Troy Drayton. Handoff straight ahead, Frank Moreau. And Moreau able to get out across the 45-yard line. It'll be close to a first down depending upon where they spot it. Greg Biekert with the stop. Donald Willis has stepped in to play left guard, replacing Jeff Blackshear. And they'll take a look at this with the chains. .12-11 mark, second quarter. And Oakland in front, 7-0. Did Moreau have enough? Yes, he did. New set of downs for Kansas City to work with. So a 1st and 10 for Gunther Cunningham's team.
Well, Gunther Cunningham told us when we talked to him the other day, he likes this team. It's a bigger team. They're more physical than his team in the past. New faces on this team. He has a lot of youth on his team that they didn't have in the past, but he likes the character of this football team. They work hard at practice. They're going in the direction he wants his team to go.
On the give, Frank Moreau put his helmet down. Couldn't quite get to the 50-yard line. A gain of 2. Elijah Alexander making the stop. And it'll be second down and about 7.
Now, I want to go back to the way the Kansas City Chiefs work. These guys work hard. They're out there for 2.5 hours. They're running from practice site to practice site. For an example, they just signed Michael Ricks, a wide receiver from San Diego. First day of practice, Gunther Cunningham told us he was heaving halfway through practice, which means he wasn't in good enough shape to go through a practice with the Kansas City Chiefs because some teams don't work as hard as the Chiefs.
And Gunther asked him, hey, do you think we're tough? And he went, huh? Yeah, you're tough. Off play fake. Gerback airing it out deep down the sideline. Morris in double coverage. And it's incomplete. Combination of Dorsett and Eric Allen. And trying to keep the Oakland defense honest with the long ball.
What I like about this call from offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray, he sees Morris is on the side. He's got height on his defensive coverage on Eric Allen. But what he wants to do, even though this pass is incomplete, it sets the seed in the mind of the defenders. It lets Eric Allen know that this guy's a rookie. It doesn't matter. They're going to throw the ball to him. They're going to test me deep. Me, a Pro Bowler, I've been around for a long time, but they're going to put the rookie on me. That's what they're going to do. They're going to stretch that defense and try to open up the running game.
Little shovel pass inside for Tony Richardson, and a first down for Kansas City into Oakland territory. Into the bag of tricks for Jimmy Ray, and a pickup of 11.
That's what I was saying. You stretch the defense, throw the ball long. The cornerbacks play off. The linebackers play back a step. All of a sudden, you run a little shuttle pass right here. Give the ball to your running back, Tony Richardson. There's a huge cavity on the left side of the line. Great blocking by left tackle John Tate. No one touches running back Tony Richardson until he gets past the first down marker. Jimmy Ray mixing it up upstairs. He said he's going to mix it up. When I talked to him, he goes, he told me I want to know how the Raiders are going to play us in certain formations. Are they going to defend the pass first, the run second? We'll find out.
Off the 3 tight end setup, Gerback plenty of time to work with. Floats it upstairs, and Gonzalez catches it cleanly at the 28. A gain of 10. Elijah Alexander with the tackle.
All right, and this is confidence. Confidence in Tony Gonzalez and Elvis Gerback. Keep an eye on number 88. All he's going to do is go down about 10 yards, plant, come across, drag across the field. He's open, but watch the white jerseys around him when the ball gets there. He's in tight coverage. Right over the top is Charles Woodson, 2 other defenders around him. But it's the confidence of the quarterback having it in his great tight end of Tony Gonzalez, knowing that he will go up and get the football.
Heck of a grab for Gonzalez, who has had success against the Raiders in the past. Handoff, Moreau barreling through the line and across the 25-yard line for a gain of 4. So now Kansas City able to move the football with some success. Johnny Harris making the stop. And this half moving very quickly with 9:30 left in the second quarter. Kimball Anders has checked into the game for Kansas City offensively, facing a 2nd down and 6.
It's great to see Kimball Anders back. Last game, came in 9 rushes, 45 yards, had the torn Achilles tendon. They're finally getting into the condition that he needs to be in football hardened, football readiness.
Gerback throwing. On the outside, it's Morris, and he is spun down at the 15-yard line. That's a 1st down for Kansas City. Charles Woodson with a stop and a gain of 9 through the air.
And look at the Oakland Raider defense right here. They're all in the box right here. Okay, if you got too many in the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what you gonna do? Throw the football. Make sure that they step up. They go for the fake right here. They step up with Elvis Gerback. They watch running back Kimball Anders. On the outside, they throw the ball one-on-one coverage outside in the flat with Sylvester Morris. They'll take that cushion all day.
And a nice stick by Anders, blocking off Elijah Alexander on 1st down. Inside. And Kansas City, not much working there. Just about everybody involved defensively for the Oakland Raiders who try to take the football. And the referee's not buying it as Anders was brought down quickly. Josh Taves. What are you trying to do, Josh? That's not going to happen.
Trying to make the highlight reel. At least we mentioned his name. You mentioned his name. You got his name mentioned.
Fair point. On a 2nd and 7 now. Clock still moving.
I'll tell you, when I was a player, at the bottom of the pile, if the ball was down there, even if the play was over, I'd always pick it up. Hand it to the official, Mark May, around the football.
Little secrets. Dump off inside, and Tony Richardson gets crunched by Beekert and Thomas. A gain of 5. A little bit short of a 1st down.
Everyone's been talking about the 3-pronged attack of the passing attack of Kansas City. Sylvester Morris, the rookie, Tony Gonzalez, the tight end, Derek Alexander, the wide receiver. But everyone forgets about the running backs out of the backfield catching the ball. Now they have Kimball Anders back. Tony Richardson's always been a tremendous receiver out of the backfield. Forget about their running game now. They'll get to the running game once they soften up the defense and get those defenders out of that 7- and 8-man box so they can slam the ball in between the time.
11th play of the drive. On a 3rd and 2, inside the 10. And Frank Moreau is brought down. A loss on the play. William Thomas was all over it. The 10-year veteran making the play on 3rd down.
That's an outstanding play of the Raiders defense stretching the ball. Here's a lesson for the rookie Frank Moreau to learn. When you take that ball in a certain short, slam it in between the tackles right there. Turn up and hit it hard. Don't be a floater to the outside because the defensive speed will catch up to you.
Well, Todd Peterson will get another opportunity. He missed from 44 yards away earlier. This one, a 27-yard attempt. Released by Seattle in training camp. And Peterson connects. Kansas City cuts into the Oakland lead. Raiders in front, 7-3. Fast-moving 1st half. Gunther Cunningham's team has some points. 6:38 mark, 2nd quarter. Oakland Raiders with a 7-3 advantage, and Kansas City will kick it off. Todd Sauerbrunn will do the honors. Calvin Branch and David Dunn are deep for Oakland. That's Dunn standing at the goal line. Sauerbrunn with Dunn moving forward, catching it at the 8. Here's Dunn cutting it upfield, flag down. And Dunn is done at the 30. Gracie Walker with a stop. And 3 flags on the play. 22-yard return for Dunn. Looks like this one is coming back. Tony Correde.
That'll be a clip on the far outside. Pushing the back. You got the double.
It's a medley.
Yes. All he needed was a tripping for the trifecta.
Holding. Receiving team number 28. Penalty is declined. Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 28. 10-yard penalty. First.
Oh, Randy Jordan. And his fingerprints all over that play. 7-3 Oakland. Overcast skies in Kansas City. A lot of water overnight. Thunder and lightning. But rain not affecting the game so far today. A 7-3 lead for Oakland. And the Raiders a 1st and 10 from the 11. Quick throw to John Ritchie. who spins his way across the 15-yard line, and a pickup of 6. Donnie Edwards, first man there. By now, let's get an NFL Today update. Head to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian, after a Moses Marino fumble, the Bills strike on the very next play. Sammy Morris, 32 yards for the touchdown to put the Bills in front. Marino has just come back and fumbled for the second time, seeing action in the second quarter after Harbaugh went the first. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
Now problems continuing for the San Diego Chargers. It's been a long year already. We're only in week 7. Little juke move by Kaufman trying to double back the other way, and he cannot. James Hasty was all over it. A loss of 6.
And this is like taking a beeline to the running back, James Hasty. He's not going for the jukes. He's letting the rest of the defenders in front of him contain Kaufman. He's coming out of his cornerback position, and it's a shot right at Kaufman for the loss on the play. Great job at the end of the line of scrimmage right here by John Browning to playing off the block. Here comes Donnie Edwards, flattening out the running back with James Hasty. Forget the jukes. I'm going right for the ball in the running back. Excellent tackle.
So whatever yardage they gain with John Ritchie comes back on that Kaufman attempt. And now a 3rd and 10. Crowd is loud. Gannon flagged down, and he's sacked back at the 4-yard line. Browning and Williams combining.
And Kurt Schottenheimer comes up with a stunt, collapsing the pocket, not letting Rich Gannon step up in the pocket and closing the outside in and converging on the pocket.
Now we'll deal with a penalty.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, offense number 74. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Matt Stinchcomb, second-year pro out of Georgia, last year's first-round pick.
Keep an eye on the pocket, how it collapses in here. It's a great job of Williams and everybody else of just smothering the pocket. Here comes Browning right at the end. It's a nice TE stunt, but what they do is they don't allow Gannon to step up. They don't allow him to run to the outside. That's an excellent defensive stunt from the defensive front of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now Shane Leckler, the rookie, punting from his own end zone, gets it off. Dante Hall allows it to bounce and rolls out right to the 50-yard line. Midfield, that's where Kansas City will start out after the 45-yard punt. 7-3 Raiders. Well, getting shots of owners has become in vogue in the NFL, especially with Daniel Snyder and Jerry Jones. But there's always Mr. Reliable, Al Davis, silver and black.
I respect Al Davis tremendously. 3 Super Bowl trophies, but I'm still mad at him. There's no way they could beat us like they beat us in Super Bowl 18 fair and square. I still have nightmares about Marcus Allen running up and down the field.
Kansas City with the ball, and Elvis Gerback throwing to Tony Gonzalez. Marquez Pope with the coverage, 10 yards through the air. And another leaping catch by Gonzalez.
For Marquez Pope, that's the mismatch they're looking for. He's going to have a long day. Marquez Pope has played every defensive back position in the NFL, but Tony Gonzalez just dishes him. One quick push right there, turn and run the out, go up with your fingertips, catch the ball. That's a matchup that Elvis Gerback will be looking for the entire afternoon unless they switch up and start double covering Tony Gonzalez.
On a 1st and 10 at the Oakland 40-yard line. Motion man is Troy Drayton. Richardson by himself in the backfield gets the call. Richardson bowling over a would-be tackler and picks up 4 yards. Greg Biekert, initially the man trying to bring him down.
That's what you call an NFL introduction. Mr. Beaker, meet Mr. Richardson. Head-to-head, mano-a-mano. I think Mr. Richardson won that.
Now, do you think it's still the same passion as the old Raider-Chiefs matchups?
I think so, because when we talked to the center, Tim Grunhard, what he told us is, hey, we were out here, some of the old retired guys, they got false teeth, canes walking around. They said, we hated the Raiders as much as you guys hate the Raiders today. Go out there and win the game.
Now, I assume that was your impression of a former Chief.
That's me 15 years from now.
On the rollout by Gerback, forced to go the other way. Floats one up in the air and caught by Gonzalez. Inside the 15-yard line. Elvis Gerback. Great skills by Gerback to keep that play alive and find Gonzalez in stride.
And a terrific job by Tony Gonzalez of staying with his quarterback. Elvis Gerback on the fake. He wants to roll right. Here it's not open. He looks to his first read. There he turns his head to his second read. Now make something happen. Sprint away. Come on with me, Tony. Come with me, Tony. Tony Gonzalez goes with him. He fights through. Gets a little push off right there on William Thomas, the linebacker. Gets behind him. Now sprint to the backside. Gets the catch for the first down. That's an outstanding job of quarterback, wide receiver, tight end on the same play.
Back to throw it. Gerback almost picked off. Marquez Pope. 6 straight completions. That streak comes to an end for Elvis Gerbach. He was looking for Tony Richardson. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 14.
The Kansas City offense is doing a wonderful job of mixing up the playbook. Play action passes, rolling and moving the pocket, throwing to Gonzalez, throwing to your backs, moving the ball down the field to play. I think now if you're going to throw the ball, you need to throw the ball deep. You've got the secondary stepping up a little bit, maybe play action pass if you get Sylvester Morris or Derek Alexander one-on-one to the outside, take a shot.
On 2nd down, Anders goes in motion. Gerbach steps up, plenty of time, unloads again for Gonzalez, stays on his feet. Touchdown! Oh, the free throw for Gonzalez. Good. We used to see the dunk. And now Tony, the former college basketball standout at Cal, is giving us the new look on the celebration. 6 catches, 78 yards today, and a touchdown.
But what a wonderful job by quarterback Elvis Gerbach. Here he looks to the center. It's not there. Goes to a second read to the outside to his wide receivers. It's not there. Greg Beekert has Gonzalez one-on-one coming underneath in the zone. Tony Gonzalez just takes the ball in and gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Extra point from Todd Peterson. A 5-play, 50-yard drive in just 1:58. Kansas City in front for the first time. 4th straight game for Tony Gonzalez, scoring a touchdown against the Oakland Raiders. And his 4th touchdown of the season. Elvis Gerbach throwing his AFC leading 13th touchdown of the season. And keep in mind, Kansas City has already had its bye week. 2 weeks ago, they defeated Seattle for their 3rd consecutive win, undefeated in the AFC West. After starting the season out 0-2. Here's David Dunn from the 5. Dunn cutting it to the outside, and Dunn is tripped up. Did he lose the football is the question. And the referee, officials claim he did not. He was already down. Mike Mislowski with a stop. 34-yard return.
That was a good call. I think he is down. It's hard to tell at that angle, but it does look like he is down on the play.
So Oakland will hold on to it, and a 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Gruden's team got off to such a quality start. Methodically took it down the field against Kansas City on its first drive. Looked like they were going to get points on their 2nd drive, but a missed field goal attempt by Sebastian Janikowski. And now they trail Kansas City 10-7. Gannon airs it out, deep ball down the sideline, and nobody home. Andre Rison, the intended receiver. Another look at the touchdown for Tony Gonzalez.
And the first look for Rich Gannon, he's got to look at his wide receivers down there. He wants his wide receivers to keep an eye on Gonzalez. One-on-one, just goes right across the field of play, gets pushed. Greg Beekert has him. He's not fast enough to keep up with Gonzalez. Now here's a stiff arm, get the ball into the end zone. Great play by Tony Gonzalez of finding the way to the end zone. Good protection by the offensive line, but the wide receivers running the defensive secondary off deep, clears the way from Tony Gonzalez one-on-one with Greg Beekert, and the stiff arm gets him into the end zone. Here he is. Is it a 2 or 3 point shot by Gonzalez at the end of that touchdown?
Well, we'll take a look at it later on with Kansas City defense gaining some momentum. Inside handoff. Tyrone Wheatley is wrapped up by Browning. A 2-yard gain. Early in this game, Wheatley was finding holes and just catapulting himself through them. And right now, the holes aren't there.
And the holes are right off Steve Wisniewski, the left guard, Barrett Robinson center. They're doing an excellent job of double-teaming Dan Williams back to Marcus Patton. But on this play, John Browning just comes right off the end of Matt Stinsko on the tackle and closes on the running back. That's how you get to the running back. You come off the edge, close the cushion from the backside.
And we will hit the 2-minute warning. 2nd quarter. Chiefs 10, Raiders 7. Much more to come from Arrowhead when we return. 10-7, Kansas City leading the Oakland Raiders. Gunther Cunningham, he wouldn't come out and say it, but you could sense that loss last year still lingering a bit. Would have meant a playoff spot for his team, a division title in his first year as a head coach in the NFL. Now a 3rd and 8 for Oakland. Randy Jordan in the backfield, Dudley the motion man. In the pocket, Gannon finds Tim Brown, and a 1st down as Brown accelerates into Kansas City territory and quiets the crowd out to the 43-yard line, 17 yards.
That's one remedy that Kurt Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, has to come up with. They always find a way to free Tim Brown underneath. Right here, he just goes straight across the field. Donnie Edwards gives a little push on him, but that's not enough. Tim Brown's will always find that seam underneath. There's not a lot of wide receivers in the NFL at his size, 6'1", 195, that'll continue to go across the middle, but he does it, and it's in his 13th season.
And a big third down conversion. They keep this drive alive, and now maybe Kansas City won't see the football again before the end of the first half. Tyrone Wheatley is spilled out by the rookie Pat Dennis after a gain of 1. You know, something else we sensed in talking to Kansas City, especially James Hasty. We asked him about the rivalry with Oakland. He said, hey, we remember John Gruden jumping up and down at the end of the season last year in the season finale as if Oakland won the Super Bowl. We didn't forget that.
And those are plays that always stick in the back of players' minds. They got knocked out of the playoffs, knocked out of first place in the AFC West, and something like that will stick in your mind. And you'll remember that. That will carry over to this game.
Here's Gannon. Kaufman releasing from the backfield, tried a head and shoulder fake, and it didn't work on Pat Dennis. A gain of about 3.5. And a timeout called with 1:08 to go in the first half. Kansas City with a 10-7 lead on the Raiders. Three-point lead for the Chiefs. Just over a minute left in the second quarter. Breaking out the walkie-talkie, John Gruden.
Okay, tell Tim to go deep on the underneath and look out for Andre coming across the middle. And if you can't, dump the ball off to Napoleon Kaufman. And if he's not there, Rich Gannon's probably saying, I got you. Okay, I got you.
You playing offensive coordinator again? On a 3rd and 6. Brown in motion. Loose football. Kansas City has got it at the 40. John Browning with the recovery for the Chiefs. And the Raiders have nothing to show for this drive. A poor exchange at the line of scrimmage.
Right here, Rich Gannon, and here's the ball. Keep an eye on that. Poor exchange between center and quarterback. The ball's not up high enough, and also Rich Gannon pulls out a step too early. He's looking down the field to play. You've got to concentrate on it. That's the most basic play in football. You practice that 1,000 times a week, the center-quarterback exchange.
And now the Kansas City Chiefs have some time to work with. Just over a minute to play in the first half. Deep drop by Gerback. Sideline throw. Catch made by Alexander, and creating after the catch. Charles Woodson took a risk, and it cost the Raiders. 17-yard connection.
And I'll tell you what, Charles Woodson took a risk. He was off by 1/8 of a second on this play. Elvis Gerback just learned one thing. If you're going to throw that out, you got to put mustard on that ball, because the speed and the closing speed of the defensive secondary. Watch how close this ball is right there, just off his fingertips. When you throw that out in the NFL, you better have zip on it, because the defensive backs are just too quick and they come up and play it very hard.
Gerback stepping up. Strong throw and catch made by Alexander. So Kansas City with 2 plays moved the football all the way to the 27-yard line. That one covered 16 yards. A timeout. Elvis Gerback has had 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns this season. 2 of them happened early in the year. His arm has looked very strong in recent weeks.
And I think it's the bye week really helped him. He said he needed to get recharged, and it helped his throwing strength.
Tony Richardson stumbling forward and coming up just shy of the 20-yard line. A 7-yard gain. Tim Grunhard, the 11-year veteran out of Notre Dame, with a good block up front.
One thing Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator, is allowing Elvis Gerback to do, call his own plays in 2 minutes.
Clock continues to move. On a 2nd and short, Gerback finds Alexander in the sideline, and a new set of downs for Kansas City to work with at the 16-yard line. That's a 4-yard pass.
They started about 3 weeks ago giving Elvis the freedom of calling his own plays in a 2-minute situation, because he has a better feel for the game, and there's just not enough time sometimes to get a play in there. They work on these packages during the week, and Elvis Gerback has been a master of this the last 3 or 4 games, of getting his team in position in 2-minute situations. Not a lot of time left on the clock.
Kansas City still has 2 timeouts to work with, and certainly in field goal range now, with a chance to get a couple of cracks to the end zone. Gerback throwing. And a miscommunication. Morris turning to the outside, and Gerback had it thrown on the other side of the shoulder.
Brian, this is on both of them. On the outside, the wide receiver, Sylvester Morris, has to look a little quicker. It's a hot read. If you look at the inside, the Oakland Raiders came with a blitz right in the middle of the field. Elvis Gerback read the blitz, but he had time. The offensive wall set up for him in front of him, did a magnificent job of picking up the double blitz by the defense of the Oakland Raiders.
Gerback with his touchdown pass earlier to Gonzalez. Now 12 consecutive games that he has thrown for a touchdown pass. And looking for another here. On a 2nd and 10. Gerback puts it upstairs. Jump ball opportunity, and Alexander can't haul it in a matchup with Charles Woodson. Michigan versus Michigan. And mutual respect for those two individuals.
I think the younger Michigan won this one over the older Michigan, but this is a great job of one-on-one coverage by Charles Woodson on Derek Alexander in the corner of the end zone. Right here's a situation where it's 3rd down. I think they've got to take a shot at going with Tony Gonzalez. He's getting one-on-one defensive coverage from Bobby Brooks. Take a shot at Tony Gonzalez going down the post in the middle of the field, or get it to him where he can get into the end zone.
This will probably be their final shot at the 6 points. Gerback sets it up. Wide open space for Richardson. Touchdown, Kansas City. You cannot design it any better than that.
All right, you talk about respecting Tony Gonzalez. The whole defense goes to Tony Gonzalez. No one covered Tony Richardson. Wide open out of the backfield. It's an easy flip by quarterback Elvis Gerback. This is how he designed it on paper. He slips out of the backfield and nobody covered him.
Todd Peterson, extra point. Kansas City extends its lead. 3rd receiving touchdown of the season for Richardson. He was wide open in the flat. That beard has come in quite full over the last month.
And that hair thing, his hair's pretty long off.
On a bounce, David Dunn. And he's tackled at the 40-yard line with only 8 seconds remaining on the clock by Andre O'Neal. So a 17-7 lead, 17 unanswered points for the Chiefs after Oakland was able to strike first. And the former Chief, Rich Gannon, had such success in the season finale last year, leading his team in a come-from-behind victory. So sweet for him, I'm sure. And sweet for the Raider organization, which had been thoroughly dominated by this Kansas City team throughout the decade of the 90s. Only 8 seconds left. And they'll go conservative with Wheatley. Picking up chunks of yardage. Tyrone Wheatley brought down at the 41, and time has expired here in the first half of action. A fast-moving first half as Wheatley ends the 2nd quarter with a 20-yard run. And Kansas City has a 17-7 lead. This one might not be over. The officials now milling about. Did they get the timeout call just before time expired?
It appears they have, and they want to give Sebastian Janikowski a shot. Before the game, I was watching him kick. He was warming up with 60 to 62 yarders out there. He hit a couple of them into the wind, but a few of them were just short. But he does have the leg for this distance. But now it's a psychological battle in his mind at this time. A 59-yard attempt. He hasn't hit one for over 40 yards in his professional career. After banging 40-yarders and 50-yarders in college, now it becomes psychological. He just has to concentrate. We talked to John Gruden. He talked to him earlier this week. Slow down your approach. Take your time. Go kick the ball. You're going too fast.
Trying to snap out of his funk. A 59-yard attempt for Janikowski. Gets it off. And no good. So the beat goes on for first-round draft pick Sebastian Janikowski, the number 17 pick overall out of Florida State. That one wide to the right. Now it's halftime. Kansas City with a 17-7 lead on the Oakland Raiders. Chiefs looking to take over first place in the AFC West after winning 3 straight games. It's halftime here at Arrowhead. 17-7, Kansas City leading Oakland. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. Oakland gets off to the strong start, putting 7 points on the board, but since then, 17 unanswered for the Chiefs.
I think the key is the Kansas City defense able to stop the Oakland running attack, and Rich Gannon in the second quarter couldn't do anything right. Elvis Gerback, 144 yards second quarter. He didn't turn the ball over. Gannon did. That's the tail sign of the first half.
Not just in this game, but really overall this season, the Kansas City passing attack has been such a huge story. They've been known as a running team, not anymore.
Well, I talked to the offensive coordinator, Jimmy Ray, and I said, you guys are the Air Cornell of the West. And
yeah.
he goes, don't ever say that about our offense. He said that's the biggest kiss of death for you to give us, is tell us that we are a passing football team. We're a very balanced football team, but we still want to be known as a running football team also.
Todd Sauerbrunn kicks it off. We're underway in the second half of action. David Dunn will take it from the 10. Dunn looking for a lane. And Dunn emerging through a hole and brought down at the 43 by Sauerbrunn, the man who kicked it off. A 36-yard return for Dunn, who nearly broke it. Take a look at the numbers in the first half, and the passing yardage, as we discussed, 184 yards, and turnovers as well. That late turnover by Oakland. Gannon unable to handle the snap, and Kansas City took advantage of it, marching right down the field.
And they've executed their offense magnificently as the Kansas City Chiefs. But right now, the Oakland Raiders, Rich Gannon, they started off hot. They've got to pick it up where they started off the game from in the first quarter. They need to pick that up in the second half.
Good field position to start off as Tyrone Wheatley busts his way through for a gain of 5, and Lou Bush making the stop, the former San Diego Charger, who is certainly accustomed to AFC West football, but really his first taste of the Chiefs-Raiders rivalry.
And he's picking it up. He's getting better each week. He's understanding the system and the philosophy of defensive coordinator Kurt Schottenheimer. He's one heck of a player. Not a guy that gets to the quarterback a lot, but he's a great run defender.
On a 2nd and 5. Just underway, second half. Dudley, the tight end, in motion. Play action. Here's Gannon underneath the coverage. John Ritchie driven back, and the Kansas City defense charging through with Bush. A gain of 2. And now a 3rd and 3 at midfield. Chiefs are in the nickel. Gannon comfortable in the pocket. On a crossing pattern for James Jett, normally known as the deep threat. Here's Jett working on the inside, and a gain of 8 for a first down.
And the Kansas City Chiefs seem to be giving this up on their defense. They'll give away the underneath crossing pattern, but they won't give away anything deep. Here's James Jett just clearing it out underneath on the crossing pattern with Tim Brown. He's the short runner. They let him go free. They cover Tim Brown. They let him catch the ball, but he picks up first down yardage on the play.
Jett has had a quiet season with the emergence of Andre Rison. Only the 6th reception of the year for Jett, the speedster. On 1st and 10 from the 43. Here's Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman gets out across the 35-yard line for a 9-yard gain. He was cut down low by Pat Dennis. And this is the way Oakland opened the game.
And this is where they started the game, running behind left guard Steve Wisniewski. They picked it up in the second half. And what teams usually do at halftime, they make changes. John Gruden broke everything down with his coordinator. He said, hey, we've had success running to the left behind Steve Wisniewski. Let's go back to that in the second half. And they've had success again in the second half, running behind the left side of the offensive line.
On a 2nd and 1 now from the 34. Movement for Brown on a pitch. Kaufman sidestepping a tackler. First down. And brought down at the 25. A 9-yard run. The Oakland Raiders.
Wow, they cannot put them up. They do not let opponents put points up in the third quarter, and they just dominate the third quarter. And that's what happens. Your halftime changes. When I played for the Washington Redskins, Joe Gibbs was well renowned. Halftime changes by the Washington Redskins. John Gruden this year has been magnificent at it, going defensively and shutting the opposition down, finding the weakness in the defense and putting points on the board.
On a first down, David Dunn is checked in. Tim Brown is on the sidelines. Running game. And Kaufman is caught well behind the line of scrimmage by Donnie Edwards, a loss of 4.
And that's why I believe Donnie Edwards should go to the Pro Bowl this year. 8 solo tackles in the first half. Here he plays off the block. He comes out of nowhere, plays off the block. A big Steve Wisniewski throws him to the side, comes up and makes the tackle on Napoleon Kaufman. That's excellent pursuit by the defense and Donnie Edwards.
And an injury, Lou Bush. Mark just talked about the improvement he's shown getting used to the system, and now Bush is lying on his back in pain, breaking the action. While we were away, they were checking out the right knee of Lou Bush on the field, but he was able to walk off on his own. And he's been replaced by Mike Mizlowski, second-year linebacker out of Wisconsin La Crosse. 2nd and 14 from the 29. Oakland was moving the football with ease until Kaufman was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Gannon steps up in the pocket, tries to get rid of it to Wheatley, and incomplete. Eric Hicks applied the pressure And what a season Hicks is having at defensive end for Kansas City. 7 sacks this year.
This is a great job by Eric Hicks. He'll go outside, then back underneath inside against Lincoln Kennedy. Get the push outside, get the leverage, come right back into the inside, pressure the pocket, and put pressure on the quarterback. Great job by Eric Hicks. Here's a guy, when they brought him in here, Gunther Cunningham said he's got a great work ethic, but he's small. Light in the waist. He needs to gain weight. Came in at like 245. Next year, 255 and 285. Now he's up to 290 pounds, and he is just a physical type power pass rusher.
Crowd getting into it on a 3rd and 14 from the 29. Gannon trying to set up the screen and tripped up. Mike Mislowski all over Randy Jordan.
Mislowski sniffs this out from the start. They try to run the underneath screen again. They ran it when they threw their touchdown pass in the first quarter. Keep an eye on 57 Mislowski. He's going to drop back in his zone. He's got Kaufman right here. Go by the block of Steve Wisnowski. Go low underneath him and make the tackle. That is picture perfect. You can't ask a linebacker in the open field to do a better job than that against one, a blocker, 2, a running back.
It has been an adventure for Sebastian Janikowski. 47-yard attempt. He is 0 of 2 today. Janikowski gets it off and bangs it through. Sebastian Janikowski needed a confidence booster, and maybe that will provide it. 47-yarder. And now a 7-point differential. 17-10. Kansas City leading Oakland. Sebastian Janikowski will kick it off. His team now trailing 17-10. Here in the 3rd quarter. 47-yard field goal for Janikowski. First one he's made as a pro beyond 40 yards. Dante Hall wrapped up and spun down out across the 35-yard line by Torrey James. 37-yard return. Another full house here in Kansas City. Over 79,000 at Arrowhead for the Chiefs and the Raiders. 17-10 game. On the handoff for Kimball Anders, not much doing, no gain on the play. And clock continues to roll with 9:54 remaining in the 3rd.
Now, going back to that crowd, when you talked about what a great venue, this is a tremendous place to play. You talk to the Kansas City players, you talk to the free agents that come here, you even talk to the opposition. John Gruden told us his first game ever as a head coach was right here. He's told us that this is one of the best places to play, one of the best venues in the NFL, because the fans are into the game, it's very loud, and it's enjoyable to play.
Off of play action. Gerback avoiding the rush, finding Tony Richardson, but he is spilled out just about at the line of scrimmage by Charles Woodson. Should mention that Derek Alexander did not leave the locker room after halftime because of a stomach ailment and is not on the field right now. Kevin Lockett has been in there, and we've seen Larry Parker as well.
And that's going to take a lot away from their offense, because he's really been the deep threat in this offense and the go-to guy. And I think now that has the switch to Sylvester Morris, and also the tight end Tony Gonzalez has been big in this game. But Elvis Gerback has confidence in all his wide receivers. He told us he's got confidence in this offense, not only in the running game and the passing game, every player on this offense.
On 3rd and long, Gerback pump fake, sideline throw, and he throws it out of bounds. Lockett in the vicinity. But Gerback just got rid of it. Kansas City coming off the bye week where Gunther Cunningham gave them 4 days off. That doesn't compare to St. Louis, who was given 9 days off during their bye week. But Kansas City almost only had 3 days off until that Seattle game.
And what it is incentive. When I played in the NFL, the head coach goes, if you win this game, you'll get an extra day off. So guys would be like crazed dogs going out there trying to win the game to get the extra day off. That's what the Chiefs did in their last Monday night game. They beat Seattle. They got the 4th day off.
Before the Seahawk matchup, Gunther told his team, it's 3 days off, but it's negotiable, if you know what I mean.
I think they got the point.
Great punt by Sauerbrunn. Gordon forced to backpedal all the way to the 6. And Darian Gordon is brought down right around the 25-yard line by Bracey Walker. 57-yard punt and a 17-10 Chiefs lead. Derek Alexander has made his way to the sideline. Upset stomach is what we've been told. And we'll keep an eye on him throughout the rest of the second half to see if he's able to contribute offensively. Right now it's the Kansas City defense on the field. 1st and 10 for Oakland at the 24-yard line. Once again, it's a 7-point game. Play fake. Spinning around and finding John Ritchie. First down for Oakland. And they'll move the chains, but a flag comes down late, 12 yards through the air.
So far this afternoon, John Ritchie's been a big part of this offense. Coming into the game, only 6 receptions, but they've been able to go to him in various times throughout this ballgame.
Holding, defense, number 96. The penalty is declined. First down.
1st and 10 from the 36. Once again, the play action. Gannon airing it out. Sideline for Tim Brown. Over his head. Pat Dennis was there step for step.
When we met with Rich Gannon, he said, hey, they've got a couple of rookies over there on the right our right offensive side, left defensive side. We're going to take our shots, but a great move by Tim Brown. That's experience. The fake against Dennis, but Dennis closes up, catch up speed. If Rich Gannon puts the ball where it needs to be, that's a big time reception for the offense. But hey, you got to work a rookie against a veteran like Tim Brown. That's when you take your shots.
We asked Gannon if there's been more chemistry this year with Tim Brown. He said, hey, doesn't take much to find chemistry with Tim Brown. He's that good. On 2nd and 10, on a sweep, Napoleon Kaufman, and gets out across the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. William Barty able to get him down low. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up from the 41.
And William Barty's another one of those young defensive backs. They used 3 of them. They're all rookies. He was the first one that was picked in the 2nd round, and he's getting better and better. Gunther Cunningham said, hey, the lights finally come on for William Barty. He may be one of the better ones in the future, but he's picking it up practice to practice and week to week, and now he's in a part of the defense and a major part of the defense.
Lou Bush is back in there for Kansas City defensively, so the injury not serious. On a 3rd and 5, Randy Jordan is in the backfield. Ritchie in motion. Here's Gannon on the flip. Able to make the connection to Jordan. And the Chiefs feel they were able to stop him before the 1st down marker. Pat Dennis riding him to the sideline.
First down or not, this is a big-time stick. They're giving him the underneath garbage, the underneath zone. Rich Gannon's able to drop it off. The Kansas City Chiefs defense won't give him anything deep. But look at this, shoulder down, right on the side, drive him out of bounds. That's a heck of a tackle by Pat Dennis. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Had to get out across the 46, and they spot the football shy of the 45. Jordan had to look to head upfield and instead was ridden laterally. Unable to move the chain, Shane Leckler out to punt it away to Dante Hall. Lets it bounce. Takes a great bounce for Oakland, but still unable to down it inside the 5. Johnny Harris had the opportunity to knock it back. It's a touchback, 55-yard punt, but a net of only 35. 17-10, Chiefs. Back in Kansas City, where the Chiefs lead Oakland 17-10. Under 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Chiefs will go with their big tiger alignment. Single back, 2 tight end, as they call it. Pump fake. Gerback on the rollout, forced to throw it away. Tony Bryant was applying the heat. 2nd year out of Florida State, 2nd round pick back in 1999, and there is Derek Alexander. So obviously the stomach problem's not enough to keep him off the field.
Now this Gerback wants this to be a 3-step drop, but he gets pressured right in the middle by Darrell Russell, putting pressure over Will Shields, the right guard. Now he just runs for his life and throws the ball away.
It'll be a 2nd and 10 from the 20. Elvis Gerback. See the comparison with Gannon. These two have been compared now over the last few years. Teammates here with the Chiefs, and a huge quarterback controversy in this area during their time spent together. Troy Drayton getting involved offensively, and a gain of only 2. Charles Woodson spikes the football after he came out of it following the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 22.
Kansas City brought Troy Drayton in because he has great hands, 238 career receptions. They wanted to get 2 tight end offense where they can move their other tight end around in the H-back position. They want to be similar to the old Redskins offense. And we talked to Gunther Cunningham. He said, yeah, I'd like to emulate the Joe Gibbs offense. Move the tight end around, pull our offensive line a little bit, have some power football, but then be able to throw off the power football formations.
Little juice has been taken out of this stadium. The crowd not nearly as vocal as they were earlier today. Gerback in the pocket, able to get rid of it. Finds a seam, and Kevin Lockett at the 34-yard line. A 1st down throw, good for 13 yards. And some jawing after the play in the pocket area.
Elvis Gerback keeping the peace. He gets hit right at the end of the play, but he keeps the peace. Guys are going at it, but here's a nice route by Kevin Lockett, but Elvis Gerback standing in the huddle hard, in the pocket hard, getting hit at the end of the play, but getting up. Here's the end. Darrell Russell right here just nails him in the back, but watch the offensive lineman come around him and try to protect him. Get in between them. Don't take a shot on my quarterback, says John Tate. Here's Elvis Gerback right here. Hey, I'm the peacemaker. Cool. It's all right. I'm okay. I'm okay. Don't worry about it, Darrell. That's a good hit. Next time you might get me. Not really.
Cooler heads able to prevail there. And we'll take a break with 5:25 left in the third. A timeout called by Oakland. Kansas City 17, Oakland 10 with 5:25 left in the third quarter and a 1st and 10 of the 35. 3 tight ends into the game and some extra blocking for Tony Richardson. Able to bust his way through for a gain of 5 down to the 40-yard line. On the play fake, Gerback flushed out towards the sideline, now looking to run it, and runs out of bounds at about the 39. Call it no gain, maybe even a loss of a half a yard on the play. NFL Today update, we head to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Ian, interesting things happening at Buffalo. San Diego has taken the lead after a Rob Johnson fumble. Jermaine Fazan up and over into the promised land. 17-14 Chargers. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
Now you figure they have to win a game sometime, whether it comes this week, who knows. The Buffalo Bills have been searching a bit. Offensive line woes there. Rob Johnson has been knocked around quite a bit of late. 3 receiver look, but they'll run it. Tony Richardson, first down for Kansas City as he crosses the 45. That's a gain of 8 for Richardson, using that right side and then working his way to the left.
Setting up his blockers. Keep an eye on Tony Richardson, but watch number 88, Tony Gonzalez, at the end of the play. Good block right there. He's going to seal it. Richardson follows his block, cutting back to the left. That's what you do. You string the defensive line out to the right, cut it back to the left. Great job on the backside of cutoff, staying with their blocks.
And we get used to it in this running back by committee. It was Moreau who was featured in the first half. It's been more Richardson in the second. Over the middle, and Morris could not hold on. That could have turned out to be a huge gainer as he was working on Eric Allen.
Great protection by the offensive line. They've kept his jersey fairly well clean, but right here, going right across the middle, and a great defensive play by Eric Allen. But Elvis Gerback thinks just an inch farther, and I complete this ball.
Morris has been fairly quiet. Gonzalez has been the main target for Gerback today. 6 catches, 78 yards. Kimball Anders working his way up the middle and crossing over midfield into Oakland territory for a gain of 4. Brought down to the 48. Let's head back to New York. NFL Today update. Jim Nance.
All right, Ian, 2 franchises 72 miles apart, and the defensive battle continues. Redskins picked off by Dwayne Starks. 3-3 late third quarter. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
Now, we were talking about it before the game, Jim, and Mark felt it could be a 9-6 game the way the Baltimore offense has been performing. And Washington, same boat.
Both of these defenses are outstanding for the Redskins and the Ravens, but their offenses cannot put touchdowns in the end zone.
On a 3rd and 6, the pitch goes to Anders. Not enough blocking on that left side as Eric Allen came charging through to get him down low. And a gain of only 1. So Kansas City will be forced to punt.
Here's a little trench warfare here. A pitch to Kimball Anders. He's trying to follow his blocking, but the defense strings him out. But a great job of just firing your body in at the bottom of it by Torrey James. Sacrificing his body, making the back cut inside to the teeth of the defense.
Todd Sauerbrunn has really picked it up in recent weeks. He was criticized quite a bit first 2 weeks of the season. Sauerbrunn signed as a free agent from the Bears. Angling this one, and it will bounce into the end zone. A touchback. 47-yard punt, but a net of just 27. A sea of red here in Kansas City. We've come to expect that. Not only is this a great rivalry, but when you see these team colors, you know that this is smash-mouth, old-time football. The silver and black, the red, the yellow and white.
My big thing here is the barbecue. When I come to the park, I smell the barbecue from a mile away. Puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, shocking that it would be food-related. Tyrone Wheatley trying to avoid the tackle of Eric Hicks, but he brought him down low for a gain of 3. Well, no place like home for Kansas City in the decade of the 90s. nobody was better. Look at the winning percentage that they were able to put together here at Arrowhead Stadium.
And this is something that the team builds around. Gunther Cunningham tells his team, this is our house, this is our place, nobody comes here to beat us. The facts prove it right there from the 90s. This team does not lose a lot of games in their own backyard.
They have won 11 of the last 12 home games in this series, and the only one they did not win when they needed it most to win the division title last year. Gannon. Little head and shoulders fake, buys him some extra yardage for a gain of 5. Marvcus Patton with the stop.
And that's a name we haven't called out a lot today, Marvcus Patton. He's been one of the leaders of the defense the last 2 years. Does a great job in the middle of any defense. Before this, he was with the Washington Redskins, then the Buffalo Bills. He was a one-time walk-on at UCLA, but in the middle, there aren't very many that are better than the Marvcus Allen because he gives you leadership and stability in the middle of your defense.
On a 3rd and 2. Gannon with 18 yards rushing today. Play fake. Gannon. Great grab by Jett. James Jett stretching the arms and catching it with the fingertips for a gain of 8 and a new set of downs for the Raiders to work with.
Pretty job by James Jett of staying with his quarterback. It's that underneath clearing route. There goes the crossing patterns. Tim Brown goes deeper. Jett comes shorter underneath. On the tackles, Donnie Edwards, but they get the ball for the first down. What Tim Brown gives you, if he doesn't catch the ball, he'll clear it out and draw double coverage, and he'll clear it out underneath for Jett. It's not a big play, but it gets you positive yardage.
Ball just shy of the 36. On the bootleg, Gannon. John Ritchie gets leveled by Edwards. 1 yard.
And that's playing the play by Donnie Edwards. That's why I said legitimately he deserves to go to the Pro Bowl by Donnie Edwards. They're using the tight end a lot today, John Ritchie, but Donnie Edwards smells this out. Here's how you play it. You go for the fake. Okay, I've got the fullback right here. He tries to block. I'm gonna foul him. Take the stick right there as soon as the ball's thrown to him.
See if the Raiders get a playoff as time is trickling away at the end of the 3rd. And that's it. 3/4 of play complete. With the score, Kansas City 17, Oakland 10. Back to Arrowhead after this word from your local station. Despite this being his 3rd year as a head coach in the NFL, John Gruden is still the youngest head coach in the National Football League. 8-8 back-to-back in his first 2 seasons, currently 4-1. Hoping his team can improve to 5-1 for the first time since 1995. We are underway in the 4th. Tyrone Wheatley muscling his way through the middle for a gain of 10. Steve Wisniewski with a nice block to free up some extra space for him. And the line of scrimmage is now the 46.
And this is where they've had their most success between the tackles of this defense, just firing it down. And Gunther Cunningham knows he can't have that happen on his defense.
Well, his defense has certainly come up big the last 3 games, shutting out the opponent in the 4th quarter. A couple of come-from-behind victories as well. 1st and 10 from the 46. Same play, it's Wheatley. And this time, Kansas City defensively was ready for a gain of 3. Eric Hicks involved in the stop. Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew with you from Arrowhead Stadium. Better than 79,000 here for a matchup between the Chiefs and the Raiders. And first place in the AFC West is at stake. Kansas City hoping to go through its first trail through the AFC West undefeated. Chance to start out 4-0 in the division. Gannon, the former Chief, in the pocket. Flag comes down. Gannon throwing. And incomplete. He was looking for Wheatley. Clock stops with 13:40 to play in the 4th in a fast-moving football game.
All right, and that should be a hold on left tackle Matt Stinchcomb. There was a great low rush by defensive end John Browning. He just grabbed him and tackled him behind the quarterback. And it's tough for an offensive lineman to get this low. He's way down by his ankles and his knees, just
holding,
pushing him back to the quarterback.
Offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
But for Chiefs Raiders, this has been fairly clean, yes?
Oh, absolutely. There hasn't been any fist fights. It's a clean fight. Right here, watch how low Browning gets on his pass rush. He takes a couple of steps, goes upfield. Now it's just a bull rush. Get lower than the offensive lineman. Get lower, get your shoulder lower. Right there, tackles him at the end of the play.
David Dunn is checked in. And they'll spread it out with 3 receivers. On 2nd and 17. Gannon under a rush. Makes the connection to Andre Rison, but he loses the football. Pat Dennis with the stick. And Rison hearing the reaction from the crowd. Now, Andre has been in this area, has made several trips to Kansas City in recent weeks to deal with some legal issues in Missouri and Kansas. And he has a court date set for January, allegedly passing some bad checks. Raiders have loved him, though. Gruden told us that he has quickly emerged as one of his favorite players on the team. On a 3rd and 17. Gannon, plenty of time at first, now stepping up. Gannon flipped to the outside, and Ritchie. John Ritchie with a head of steam. Is it enough for a first down? John Ritchie has been a weapon here today.
He's definitely been Rich Gannon's safety valve, but I like what Rich Gannon does with his football. Talk about perfect protection. The offensive line does an outstanding job. Max protection. You've got tight ends, backs helping out. Here's Rich Gannon stepping up in the pocket, trying to find something going. He sidearms, slings the ball, gets it out to Ritchie. He tries to go for the first down. It's going to be very close.
I think it's enough.
But what a job by Gannon. The secondary does an outstanding job of covering the wide receivers down the field of play. No one's open. He goes to the last person he can go to with the football is John Ritchie, and he flings it out to him on the sidelines. Great job by Rich Gannon. Here's the guy's a master of all trades when he gets back at the quarterback position. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Is it enough? Yes. You know what's amazing still? When a quarterback has that sixth sense to know that they did not cross the line of scrimmage. Rich Gannon was walking a tightrope there as to whether or not he crossed that line of scrimmage to make that pass.
He definitely was. And I'll tell you why he's got that sixth sense, because he's been around for a while. He's an experienced quarterback, and he's a smart quarterback. But a lot of quarterbacks don't pay attention to that yard marker. He's got to see everything and focus on everything. When he looks down the field of play, he knows where it is. He knows where he can take off and run with the football.
Now, Gunther Cunningham was considering throwing that red flag onto the field for a coach's challenge to see whether or not, I assume, Gannon crossed the line of scrimmage. And now Cunningham will think better of it. So this Oakland drive will continue, or will it?
The spot of progress as related to being a first down.
Challenging the spot to see if it is a first down.
Okay, they're going to look at the spot where the tackle was made or Ritchie ran out of bounds. You know, spotting the football sometimes is such an
art.
Arbitrary action.
It's an art. Right foot, left foot. Which foot do I go with on this one?
Wow.
Where's the ball? That's tough.
Needed to get to the 44-yard line. That toss-up, as far as I'm concerned.
I will give you the answer to this. Inconclusive.
Well, if it's inconclusive, then the play stands.
Yes.
I mean, if you take it parallel from where his last step was, it's not enough for the first down, but he was able to angle his body as he was heading out of bounds. Gruden just lifting his arms up. We have a coach's challenge, and really the first time the game has come to a halt here today.
This is one of the fastest moving games we've been involved in a long time. And you know, these teams have played it fairly clean. Not a lot of penalties, running the football, executing, getting first downs, moving the ball up and down the field of play.
Well, what did Tony Corrente see? Have to take a look at where the ball was when Ritchie was out of bounds.
After reviewing the play stands as ruled on the field. The progress of the runner gained a first down. Kansas City will be charged a timeout.
Now that leaves them with 2 remaining, and that look from Gunther Cunningham. Now, so this drive continues. Now with a 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 44. 9th play of the drive. Handoff, Wheatley, straight up the gut for a gain of 3. Steve Martin in on the stop. And the Oakland Raiders trailing by a touchdown on the move. Line of scrimmage will now be the 41.
It appears that the Oakland Raiders' philosophy is to bang the ball in the middle. Bang the ball between their center, right guard, left guard Steve Wisniewski, and wear down the interior 3 of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, they come in with the 9th-ranked rushing offense in the NFL. Early on, they established the run and then went away from it a bit. On a 2nd and 7 now. Gannon, pump fake. Looking. Look at the time Rich Gannon has. Makes the decision to run. And out of bounds fairly awkwardly. About a yard shy of the first down. Pickup of 6 on the scramble. It'll set up 3rd and 1.
Two things here are very impressive. One, the protection of the offensive line, but two, the defensive coverage of the secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rich Gannon could not find anyone open. They're rushing for the Chiefs. No one there to the left. Let's scramble to the right. No one even close to him. Chester McLaughlin gets a hand on him right at the end of the play, but can't bring him down. The strength of Rich Gannon. He runs through it, picks up additional yards.
Another 3rd down for Oakland. This 3rd and 1. Tight formation. Wheatley trying to force his way ahead. And the Kansas City defense felt that they held him short. Wesley and Donnie Edwards collaborating. Had to get to the 34-yard line.
Talk about running into a wall and rejected. It appeared he was going to get the first down, and all of a sudden the Kansas City Chiefs defense, wham, just stopped him short of it.
Yeah, that's certainly not enough. And now the question becomes, is it 4-down territory? And it looks like it is. It would be about a 53-yard attempt for Sebastian Janikowski. Oakland is trailing by 7. And this is where the Kansas City crowd comes into play. They used to be on Rich Gannon's side. Now he's the enemy, and he's forced to take a timeout. Oakland will have only 1 timeout remaining with 11:20 left in the 4th. A tight one, 7-point differential. Here's the situation in Kansas City. The Chiefs with a 17-10 lead on the Oakland Raiders. 11:20 to play in the 4th. And Oakland facing a 4th and 1 from the 35. Electing to go for it. Play action. Rollout for Gannon. Pump fake. Gannon puts it upstairs. Tim Brown. Jump ball, and he makes the catch inside the 5. What a gutsy pass by Gannon. 32 yards through the air.
Gutsy call by John Gruden. He calls the offensive game plan. Bill Callahan calls the running game. He's a running game coordinator. But Elvis, we're right here. Rich Gannon running to his right. Marcus Patton has a chance, but Gannon just stops, throws across the grain, and coming back and adjusting for the football, Tim Brown. If you've got to have a big play and you're going to throw it and you're the Oakland Raiders, you got to throw it to Tim Brown.
Matched up with the rookie Greg Wesley. Now a 1st and goal from the 3. Gannon, handoff, Wheatley, up the middle, and cannot get to the goal line. Lou Bush involved in the stop for a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Make no mistake on either one of these teams, both of these teams combined, they are tough physical teams. They believe in running the football first, establishing the line of scrimmage and controlling the line of scrimmage. John Gruden knows that, but the key is when they throw the football and roll the quarterback out, the defensive linebackers step up on the fakes because they have to respect the interior running of Tyrone Wheatley.
Raiders come in with an NFL high 10 rushing touchdowns. On 2nd and goal, handoff, Wheatley, smacked, flags come down. He got buried.
And the right guard, Mo Collins, was early off the ball.
Seems like the play was whistled dead. Things stopped, or at least went into slow motion before the play got going.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Well, they called it on Steve Wisniewski. He's on the left side, but we'll keep an eye on the right side of the line. That's where the movement occurs right there. It's a right tackle. Getting off the ball a little early before the snap. Steve Wisniewski, I guarantee he's in the huddle saying, "What me?"
No, absolutely. They'll back it up. Now a 2nd and goal from the 7. Backs are split. Now it's Brown releasing out of the backfield. Gannon. Under some heat. Gannon flushed out. Throwing to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Tyrone Wheatley. And the Raiders an extra point away from tying this one up at 17.
And the key to this play, Lou Bush has his back turned to Tyrone Wheatley. He does not see the ball. Tyrone Wheatley turns around, adjusts to the football. Rich Gannon sees him. Keep an eye on Bush, 51. He's going to cover Wheatley. But Gannon does a magnificent job sitting in the pocket, standing tall. This is why the play is successful. He rolls to the right under pressure. And look at the end of the play. His wide receiver and Tyrone Wheatley is looking at him. Lou Bush has his back turned.
A 14-play, 80-yard drive. And Janikowski punches through the equalizer. It took up over 8 minutes. And yes, the Raiders and Chiefs all knotted up, 17-17. Seven-yard touchdown reception for Tyrone Wheatley. And you see the long drive by the Raiders to tie this game up at 17. And Oakland has been happy to play in close games this year. Certainly they'd like to knock out the competition early, but they've been unable to do so, and the close games have worked to their favor. 3-0 in games decided by 7 points or less this season. Janikowski leans into this one. Dante Hall from the 1. Here's Hall. Had an opening for a moment, but the hole was clogged up as he crossed the 30-yard line. And Eric Johnson with the special teams tackle.
And Lou Bush has Tyrone Wheatley one-on-one coverage. Elvis Gerback rolls, not Elvis Gerback, excuse me, Rich Gannon rolls to the right, but look at the back. He's not facing the ball. The receiver is facing the ball. He does not even know the ball's thrown until the receiver, the running back, Tyrone Wheatley, catches the ball for the touchdown.
And Gannon did a tremendous job to buy himself some extra time and let that play develop. I'm sure that was not his first read by any stretch. All tied up. Play fake. Gerback. He finds Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez bulling his way forward into Oakland territory. That's good for 22 yards.
Now, and the two big play receivers come up with big plays. For the Oakland Raiders, Tim Brown. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Tony Gonzalez. He gets in the middle of the zone, runs a deep pattern that goes across the middle. It's a deep square, and quarterback Elvis Gerback gets fantastic protection by the offensive line up front. He's able to see the field with great vision and get the ball to his outstanding tight end, Tony Gonzalez. 7
catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. 1st and 10 at the Oakland 47. Stay in the air. Gerback, timing pattern to the outside, and Alexander makes the catch cleanly and forced out of bounds at the 22. That's a 25-yard pass and catch.
You talk about dropping the ball in the bucket. He throws this ball past Eric Allen in front of Tony Dorsett, Anthony Dorsett, right there to his wide receiver, Derek Alexander. That's a fantastic pass. No matter how you cut it, when you throw the football, you throw it over one defender in front of the other one and drop it right in the basket to your receiver. Great job by Elvis Gerback.
And bang, bang, 2 plays, Kansas City in business. Here's Gerback in the pocket. And over the head of Morris. Incomplete. Clock stops with 8:16 to play in the 4th.
Sylvester Morris is thinking, now I'm 6'3", I've got long arms, I can jump, but I can't jump that high.
You know, we've seen this 3 tight end set for Kansas City quite a bit here today. Now that's something about the Chiefs. We know St. Louis will come out with so many different looks. I think Kansas City, if you look up and down the AFC, they might be the leader among different looks offensively in the entire conference.
And that goes back to their offensive coordinator, Jimmy Ray. He's not afraid to experiment. He's been around a long time. He's seen a lot, and he's got confidence in his offense.
Hand it off. Richardson able to run out for a gain of 3, trying to use that left side. And Darrell Russell, a name that we have not called all that often here today, in on the stop.
We talked to Tim Grunhard. He said it's difficult to run side to side on this football team because they've got such big, strong tackles in the middle. Grady Jackson, 3 1/4. Darrell Russell's just a hamburger shy of 340. And the defensive ends are light in the pants at 250. Lance Johnston and Tony Bryan, 275. But they have speed to get to the outside and get down the line of scrimmage.
And Grunhard told us it's refreshing not to see 7 or 8 players in the box because Kansas City has been passing the ball so well. Raiders want a penalty on Drayton before the timeout was called. And the flag does come down. Now the flag will supersede the timeout call by Elvis Gerback unless an official saw the timeout first. And I guarantee you the Raiders are saying it was the penalty first.
Prior to any signal by the quarterback, false start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
And there you have it. Well, it's Tony Gonzalez. Drayton was in the same area. Who moved?
And there's confusion right here. Here's Drayton right here. Here's Gonzalez right here. We'll find out who moves first. They move at the same time.
Yep, simultaneous. And now this turns into a 3rd and 12. So no timeout. Clock is rolling with 7:28 left in the 4th. Oakland 17, Kansas City 17. And the Chiefs facing a 3rd and 12 from the 25. Gerback over the middle. It's Morris trying to create after the catch, forcing his way forward. Did he lose the football? The Chiefs felt he was down.
He was down.
And now it's the officials that will make that determination.
It definitely appeared from this angle he was down.
Raiders claim they have it. Chiefs want a first down. What a crucial play with 7:09 left in the 4th.
The ruling on the field was fumble, recovery by Oakland, down by contact, first down.
Wow.
That is a reversal of calls. You have to take another look at that. A great job by Sylvester Morris coming across the defense and making something after the catch and putting his shoulder down, trying to find something happen. Here, his back's to us. Take another look. He's trying to pick up positive yardage. Whoa. I'll tell you what. Looks like his arm's on the ball. The ball is coming out, but is it possession? His knee is down.
What do you think?
I'll tell you what, I challenge it. I take a chance. If I'm Gunther Cunningham, he's already challenged once, I challenge him.
Gunther Cunningham having a chat with Tony Corrente.
Kansas City is challenging the ruling of the field of fumble and recovery by Oakland.
Another coach's challenge, and this is the angle that Corrente will look at, I'm sure. There's a knee. Bang, bang.
That is very close.
You know, they've had
even
two,
on replay, that's tough to
they've
call.
had two
That is
tight
very
ones to
close.
call.
Wow.
And we are slowing it down.
And they have to call it in full speed. The officials do.
I can't tell if he has possession when the knee touches.
I can't tell either. It looks like he does, but then it looks like the ball comes out right there. Does he have possession? It looks like he's bringing it back to his body, and his knee's down. Now the ball comes out. That is a difficult call.
And Tony Corrente will either be the most popular man here or the most
After
hated.
reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as fumble. The ball was coming out of his body prior to the knee hitting the ground. Oakland recovery, first down.
I'll tell you what,
City will be charged with a timeout.
I can't criticize Corrente because we had to look at the same angle. Almost impossible to tell.
Almost looks like it could go either way on this call.
And it's not a matter of us not taking a stand. You're seeing the same video we're seeing. So the officials will stick with their on-field ruling, and Gunther Cunningham has now been burned twice in his eyes in the coach's challenge. Charles Woodson with the recovery. And the Raiders take over. 1st and 10 at their own 12. 7:09 left in the 4th. A 17-17 game. There has always been bad blood in this rivalry. Tim Brown, the motion man, made a big catch in Oakland's last possession. Here's Kaufman squirting his way through the middle. And a good run on first down of 11. Lincoln Kennedy with a key block. And the other part for the Raiders, use as much time as possible.
Momentum has really swung. The pendulum is on the Raiders' side, and the Raiders want to use as much time, but they want to move the ball. This is a team that I guarantee you, the players in the huddle, I've been in this situation numerous times, when you have a cold field goal kicker, let's not leave it up to the kicker. Let's put it in the end zone as a touchdown.
And that's what happened last week in overtime against San Francisco. Janikowski did not decide the game. Gannon and Brown did. Stutter step move, and nothing there for Napoleon Kaufman. John Browning, first man to get there. Down to 6:20 remaining in the 4th. A 2nd and 10 upcoming for Oakland.
And the key to the remainder of this game, how can the Kansas City defense contain quarterback Rich Gannon when he scrambles in the pocket? That's where he's made his biggest plays of the game. Not when he drops back and looks down the field to play. It's when he runs with the football, then throws it down the field.
The former Chief Andre Rison in as the 3rd receiver. They'll switch the formation, and now Kaufman will come to the outside. Motion man is rising. Here's Gannon stepping up, in some trouble, avoids the rush. Gannon looking to scramble, a flag down as Gannon slides his way to the 35. A first down for Oakland, but will it stand? 12-yard run. It looks like it's coming back. And it is. Costly penalty on Oakland.
Tripping. Offense, number 47. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
It's Tyrone Wheatley called for tripping. And not a call you see all that often in the NFL.
Well, it's one of those calls where if you're beat on a pass rush, and a lot of the linemen used to do it, you stick out your leg and you trip the defender, and Tyrone Wheatley was beat on the pass rush, so that's exactly what he did, but he got caught for it.
So instead of a new set of downs to work with, Oakland is now facing a second down and 20. This crowd getting vocal. Here's Gannon. Out across the middle, and Tim Brown gets back some of the yardage off the penalty, and Tim Brown has just come up with his 800th career reception, the 8th man in NFL history to crack that plateau.
For Tim Brown, a sure Hall of Famer in my mind, and I'm sure the mind of many, and he's been able to do it year in and year out, and there seems to be no slowing down of Tim Brown. He'll have another 1,000-yard season, and for Tim Brown, he's gone through 114 games with at least not one catch, but 2 catches in 113 consecutive games. 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons for Brown, but right now an important 3rd and 8. Gannon in the pocket, blitz is on, and Gannon is dropped. William Barty on a corner blitz. And Ian, this is well disguised by Kurt Schottenheimer. It is a dog blitz. You're going to see the linebackers go, but on the outside, keep an eye on 24. Marcus Patton's just engulfing Tyrone Wheatley to get him to stay with him and not come off the blitzing William Barty. What a smart play. Take up the back, one-on-one with the quarterback's blind side. Barty's got to get there before he throws the ball. A wonderful job of a blitz designed by Kurt Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs.
Shane Leckler gets it off. Dante Hall lets it roll. Hall with a bad decision, picks it up late. Sidestepping his way across the 35, and Hall able to make something out of it. Line of scrimmage will be right around the 41-yard line, a 53-yard punt. All tied up at 17. And here we go again with Oakland and Kansas City. Last 2 times these teams have met last year. Just great football games, classic football games, and they're picking up where they left off here in the first meeting of the 2000 NFL season. 17-17, Chiefs football, a 1st and 10. Gerback, wide open over the middle, Sylvester Morris. Raiders can't bring him down. Into Oakland territory, and finally twirled down to the grass right around the 44, 14 yards. Beekert again did not make the stop.
And you talk about having confidence in a rookie wide receiver, going back to him after the fumble. Elvis Gerback sets deep in the pocket, gets great protection by the offensive line, but he goes right back to the rookie and Sylvester Morris after the fumble in the last drive.
And a 1st and 10 now at the 44, under 4 minutes to play in the 4th. Here's Gonzalez in motion, handed off. Tony Richardson runs into a crowd, and a flag is thrown. White jerseys come flying in on the play. But the penalty, as mentioned, will be factored in. Oakland claims it's against Kansas City. It was a loss of 2. And it is against the Chiefs. Penalties, that'll be number 4 against KC, 7 against Oakland so far today. Tony Corrente.
Holding. Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
It's Donald Willis who got caught on the hold. Now they'll bring it back into Kansas City territory with a 1st and 20 at the 46. Another flag comes down. And now things are getting sloppy for the Kansas City offense.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
This time perennial Pro Bowler Will Shields at the right guard position.
And here's a guy in its 8th season. You don't expect a player like that to make a mistake like this. This is a crucial part of the game where you want to count on your offensive line. There's Will Shields right there. He gets an early jump on the play. He's going to cost his team. That's 2 back-to-back penalties that take a team out of great field position with an opportunity to move the football and score. Now they're back in their own territory.
And back to their original line of scrimmage. On a 1st and 25, Gerback airing it out into Oakland territory, and Derek Alexander able to get back some of the yardage they've lost out on because of the various penalties. That was good for 14 yards. And they'll set it up at the 46.
But the confidence that Elvis Gerback has in this offense. Stands in the pocket. He's getting wonderful protection. Hasn't been sacked. Believes in his wide receiver. Spreading the ball around to his tight end. Wide receivers on the outside. Dumping it to his back. He's got full command of this offense.
Call it a 2nd and 11. Gerback deep drop. On the rollout. Moving pocket. Coming back for the football. Alexander incomplete. Greg Biekert applying some of the pressure. And now a 3rd and 11 for Kansas City.
That's one of the few times that Greg Biekert blitzes. Here's a guy that no sacks on the year. He doesn't get many sacks because he's a tackler in the middle of the field. He does not pressure the quarterback that often, but on the last play, ran right through the middle, put pressure on quarterback Elvis Gerback.
Under 3 minutes left, 17-17. A 3rd and 11. Here's Gerback. Has the time, now forced to the outside, throwing into some traffic, and incomplete. Alexander matched up with Woodson. Kansas City fans and Kansas City players wanted a flag on the play. Darrell Russell applying some heat this time on Gerback.
Here's a replay of it. Nice play by Charles Woodson on the play. Had his left arm around him, but reached around with the right after the ball got there. But here's the key for Elvis Gerback. He does not have to leave the pocket on this play. Got wonderful protection from the offensive line. He needs to step up in the pocket. He rolls to the right. That's where he created pressure on himself.
So now Todd Sauerbrunn is on. 4th down. Pops this one up in the air. Darian Gordon with red jerseys surrounding him. A fair catch at right around the 10-yard line. 17 apiece. .240 left in the 4th quarter, and fitting that the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs would be all tied up at 17-17. Raiders have not won the division title since 1990. Haven't been to the playoffs since 93. Haven't had a winning season since 94. They've gotten off to a great start in the year 2000. Record of 4-1, leading the AFC West. And on the bootleg, the former Chief Rich Gannon will keep it himself and slide down at the 14-yard line. He picked up about 3.
Going into this game, we knew it would be a war. Battle for first place in the AFC West. But Rich Gannon at the quarterback position, what another dimension he adds to this offense. This play from the start is a design play for the quarterback to fake the ball, to run to the right, and take it and run with it. And a lot of offenses are afraid to do that with their quarterback because they're fearful he may get injured. But Gunther Cunningham, this defense, they had to prepare for the package of Rich Gannon. He was with this team for 4 years. They know exactly what this quarterback can do.
Oakland will allow it to come down to the 2-minute warning. And we'll step aside. 17-17, the Raiders and Chiefs in Kansas City. Locked up at 17. Don't forget, coming up, the Subway postgame show. Join Jim, Mike, and Craig for all the scores and the highlights and the latest NFL news. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. 2 minutes left. 4th quarter. And a 2nd and 7 for the Oakland Raiders. Wheatley by himself in the backfield, and that play looked ugly from the start. Flags come flying in. Some movement on the left side of the Oakland offensive line.
Left tackle Matt Stinchcomb.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It is Stinchcomb. Well, breaking the trend for the Raiders, close games has not been the adventure that it's been in the past, including last season. 5-8 in games decided by a touchdown or less, undefeated this year. And the Raiders pulling out an overtime victory over San Francisco last week, 34-28. 2nd and 12 now. Gannon stepping up, has some room to work with, and Gannon gets his way out to the 20-yard line. Depending upon where they spot the football, it may be a first down. Had to get to the 21. Donnie Edwards with a tackle. And the crowd quiets down.
The Kansas City Chiefs, they run a stunt up front. Look at the red jerseys go from left to right. Rich Gannon, there's a hole right there. Take it. The defensive secondary drops back into coverage. Rich Gannon's smart with the football. When he sees that hole and there's a lot of green grass in front of him, he will pull it down and run with it.
And a very good spot. And yes, it will be enough. Stops the clock with 1:47. And now Gannon will operate with a 1st and 10 from the 21. Looming in the background is Sebastian Janikowski and the mistakes that he has made this year, including last week when he could not put away the San Francisco 49ers. Will he get another opportunity here today? On 1st down. Here's Gannon throwing. Open man is Wheatley, and Tyrone Wheatley taking long strides across the 30-yard line. He got hit hard and able to pop up on his feet for a gain of 12. Donnie Edwards with a stick.
For quarterback Rich Gannon, he will take what the defense gives him. If it's soft underneath, dump it underneath to my running backs or run with the football myself. The defense is dropping back very deep for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they're giving the offense.
Clock is moving. Gannon set it up for Wheatley once again. Wheatley turns it inside. Tyrone Wheatley out to midfield. On a pass and catch, good for 17 yards. And a strong block by Steve Wisniewski.
Right now it seems like the Oakland Raiders are revved up. They have the energy at this time. And you look at the Kansas City Chiefs front four, Chester McLaughlin, those guys are just walking out there. You've got to hustle and get back to the ball. It just cost them 5 yards.
Stopping the clock with 50 seconds left. And a flag down. Chester McLaughlin coming over to plead his case. The former Oakland Raider. Ball at the 49 when we resume play, and oh boy.
And that's just laziness. You got to get back on your side of the line of scrimmage. When the offense is running to the ball, you've got to get on your side of the line of scrimmage.
Illegal substitution. 12 players on the field at the snap defense. 5-yard penalty.
Wow.
Remains first down.
And when you're substituting in this situation, you don't have enough time. Second of all, if you are going to substitute, you've got to sprint out there and get in your position. You can't lollygag around. It's going to cost you. It just cost them yardage.
Kansas City with a number of costly penalties now piling up over the last 2 drives. Kaufman is in the backfield with Ritchie. Now the line of scrimmage is the 46. Audible for Gannon, changing the play. Play clock winding down. Here's Gannon in the pocket. Forced to the outside, throwing on the run, and complete to Tim Brown. They needed a big play last week against San Francisco. They got it from Tim Brown. They've needed a couple of big plays this week, and guess who's been there?
Always the reliable Tim Brown. For some reason, he will find a way to get open. He'll fight through traffic, come underneath, go across the middle. Whatever it takes, he will find an area to get open. And the key is Rich Gannon and Tim Brown being on the same page. Rich Gannon knows if he's got to have a big play, he'll find Tim Brown. He'll roll to the right, roll to the left. He'll look for number 81 because he will find separation from the defense.
Raiders moving the football. Now a 1st and 10 at the 34. Randy Jordan in the game. Play action. Here's Gannon. Finds John Ritchie, who's forced out of bounds by Pat Dennis. Now John Ritchie, his presence has been felt here. And will we feel the presence of Sebastian Janikowski is the next question.
And for John Ritchie coming into the game, 6 receptions. Today, 7. He's already eclipsed his entire season in 1 game. And Sebastian Janikowski, what is going through his mind? This game could rely on his kick and his foot.
17-17. 38 seconds left. Want to welcome those of you joining us that were watching the Baltimore-Washington game. All tied up with a 2nd and 8 now for Oakland. Raiders on the move. Gannon short drop and a quick throw complete to Andre Rison, the former Chief, coming back to Arrowhead, and it's good for 7 yards. He hears boos from this crowd. And a timeout called. Oakland has used its final timeout with 30 seconds left. Well, the game summary. First quarter, Oakland came out with a 4-yard touchdown reception. Napoleon Kaufman from Rich Gannon on the board first. Kansas City with its new kicker, Todd Peterson, 27-yard field goal in the second quarter, a 7-3 game. And then Tony Gonzalez, 14-yard touchdown reception, putting Kansas City in front for the first time. Kansas City able to extend its lead late in that second quarter with a Tony Richardson 15-yard touchdown reception, Gerbach's second touchdown pass of the day. Second half now, Janikowski 47-yard field goal after a miss earlier. Tyrone Wheatley 7-yard touchdown reception tied this game up at 17-17. And now Sebastian Janikowski comes on the field for a 43-yard attempt, looking to give Oakland a 3-point lead. Janikowski trying to redeem himself. Leckler the holder. Janikowski, 43-yarder. He's got it. Oakland takes the lead with 25 seconds remaining. And it's the rookie Sebastian Janikowski that puts his team in front.
Now, for Janikowski, that's the first kick he's made over 40 yards in his career this season. Here's the kicker coming into this game. He didn't concentrate enough going into the game. Missed a lot of kicks this year. He finally nails one, and a pressure kick for Janikowski. This is the biggest kick of his career as an Oakland Raider.
Janikowski had not made a game-winning kick with the game on the line. That had been the question. Against San Francisco, Janikowski was given the opportunity, did not come through. John Gruden had a long talk with him on Monday. We talked to Gruden about it yesterday.
He just let him know to calm down. What you're doing, you're approaching the ball too fast. Slow down, we believe in you. And he had to have that talk with him. They used a first-round draft pick on a kicker. And here's a kicker that they think is going to be their kicker for a very long time. He just hadn't hit his kicks, and now in pressure situations, he had to make the kick. That's the most pressure I think he's ever going to feel in his career.
And he said, hey, kickers are like snipers. You get one bullet at the end of games. And Janikowski used that bullet well. They elected to go for that field goal on third down after criticism last week. Oakland decided to do it this week once again. This time, it pays off for them. Gannon on the drive, 5 for 5, 49 yards. Janikowski kicking it off, and here's where he's a weapon. Normally, deep kicks. This time, it's returnable for Dante Hall. Here's Hall trying to cut it to the outside and tripped up as he crossed the 20-yard line. Let's take you back now, a flashback to last year in the Raiders. Joe Ned boiling Kansas City's playoff hopes. For the win in overtime. From 33 yards away, Nedney straight through. And the Raiders have done the unexpected. They have spoiled the Kansas City Chiefs party. The celebration for John Gruden. His team knocking Kansas City out of the playoffs. High throw over the head of Alexander, matched up with Woodson. Incomplete. And only 16 seconds remain.
For Elvis Gerbach and the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs, they need to work a few plays underneath. Here's an offense. He hasn't been sacked the entire day. Been throwing the ball well to his wide receivers and Tony Gonzalez, but Tony Gonzalez hasn't caught a pass in an awful long time in this game. He used him well in the third quarter. In the first half, he was his go-to guy. Created a lot of mismatches with him. I think they need to get the ball to Gonzalez again if they want to move this ball offensively.
Only 16 seconds remaining. Now a 2nd and 10. Gerbach. Incomplete. Lunging attempt by Kevin Lockett. And Torrey James was there defensively. Only 12 seconds left.
And at this point of the game, it seems like the Kansas City offense is out of sync. The Oakland Raider defense has really picked it up, particularly in the fourth quarter of this football game, where Kansas City was actually running the ball and throwing the ball at will in the third and fourth quarter. But at this point in the game, they need to come up with a big play offensively, and they just don't seem to be on the same page with the wide receiver and quarterback at this time.
Here's Gerbach throwing into a crowd, almost intercepted. The game came oh so close to ending with Calvin Branch. But instead, Kansas City has 7 seconds left, but they face a 4th down.
And these are always hard-fought battles. Each coach takes it very personally, particularly Gunther Cunningham. He was a coach on this Oakland Raiders staff. Last year, they lost the game here, knocked them out of the playoffs. very, very bitter defeat for Gunther Cunningham and his Kansas City Chiefs. And coming back home in their own environment, their backyard, Arrowhead Stadium, their backs are against the wall with 7 seconds to go.
And this is it for the Chiefs. To the sideline. Incomplete. Game over. The decade of the 90s belonged to the Kansas City Chiefs in their matchup with the Oakland Raiders. New millennium and new results. The Oakland Raiders, sole possession of first place in the AFC West. They improved to 5-1. Chiefs dropped to 3-3. And John Gruden's team has come back into Arrowhead and won another game over Gunther Cunningham's squad. Another great football game between these two teams that have so much history. And there's Gruden pumping the fist. We asked him about the celebration last year. He said, hey, put a camera on me. I celebrate first downs.
He's fired up.
Final play. And it's over. Oakland with a 20-17 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. And the former Chief, Rich Gannon, returning to Arrowhead and picks up another W. Sebastian Janikowski, this time he was able to kick the game winner. So for Mark May, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from KC. 20-17, Raiders win it over the Chiefs. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 35.